It's your favorite host, Kadi Drame, again on your most talked about program, the Youth Spotlight. Every week, where we bring youths around this country, any youth that is making sure that national development is moving and is a growing thing, is of interest to this platform. And as we always do it, we bring you one youth, profile the person, let us discuss about the person's experience, engagement, and what they do to make sure that they are engaged in national development. And of course, we will be having a guest here today. But then before I introduce the guest, make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And please, sponsors are urged to come and support this program so that it will be engaging and more fun and then inspiring. But then, before I introduce my guest, let me just tell you, I will do the protocols. Will I say His Excellency? Do I do that? And then if I said His Excellency, you might be thinking it's President Barrow, but then it's not President Barrow. But then His Excellency, President Yusuf Tunkara, the President of the NPP Student Wing, that is National People's Party Student Wing today, will be here to discuss with us as in civic engagement, youths in politics. It's going to be a long conversation, won't be long actually, but then a very educative and interesting one, because youths in this country might not be wanting to talk about politics, but then I don't believe in that. I tell youths that we are not the future leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. So Mr. Tunkara, greetings and thank you so very much for honoring this invitation.
Thank you very much, Drame, for inviting me, and good evening, viewers, and thank you to your team, the camera team, and then Eco TV family, and of course Gambians and Gambian youths. Today we are here at the Eco TV, and then we'll get into the conversation and share our perspective as our host suggested, and youth involvement into politics and social development.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Tunkara. So first off, we will want to know what is your role as the president of the student wing? What does the student wing do as a whole, in short, just for people to know what the wing does in development?
Thank you very much. Well, for us at the MPB Students Wing, I will start by how it all comes about.
Okay.
In 2019, when President Barrow formed his party, there was a group of young people at the University of the Gambia. We think that we align ourselves with the president, and we think of coming together and form a group. So as a result, we have a whole lot of groups that are all students supporting the president, and everybody want to have a group, but the leadership of then the President Barrow political coalitions, deem it fit that to have one synchronized leadership that will coordinate all activities. So I'm actually the second president. The first president tenure ends.
Okay.
So at the last Congress, I was elected to be the next the president of MPP Students Wing. Our pretty much idea, our aim is to attract youthful involvement into politics, especially from those that are privileged and lucky to go going to school, especially the tertiary institutions, because over the years, many of us believe that if you are, as a young person, you're going to school, and you, especially university, once you are done, you should just look over other way and leave the politician to, they will tell you that leave the politician to do the politics, go and look for a job.
Okay.
And for us, we felt we should do better than that, because we live in Gambia, and politicians, what they do affect us in terms of policy initiative, policy implementation, and policy proposals. And if you go to university, what you read more is about development in terms of policy and development models. You exposed to so many development models, in the models that you do better than before, and in terms of best practice, in terms of applying social policies that affect everybody. And there is no point once going to school and finishing and going to get a job, and all what you keep doing is complaining. Say that, this one government is doing this, is not good. This one is doing this, no good. And so we're hanging on, We are not politicians, but politicians are doing these things to us. They are doing to us because we are not there. If we are there, they will not do it to us. So that's the main reason why, for me personally, that's what I believe in, involvement. So for MPP Students Wing, we focus more of creating that platform for students who align themselves with the President Barrow and his party. Because in UTG, for instance, we have our UTG politics. And of course, other schools, every schools have their own school politics. Yeah. But this is a platform. And to be quite honest, many developed countries, if you look at their political class, most of their political leaders come from their party student structures, grow into a prominence and become leaders in their respective constituencies, wards, district, and eventually become the prime ministers and the presidents. So of course, as Gambia being a new democracy, it's important that we introduce a culture that will actually strengthen our democracy and increase mass participation, because mass participation, expose country into a government into a legitimacy, where government in countries where you have 100 million populations and you have only 25 million people are voting for a president, definitely there's something wrong with that society, because there's no way you can say that you are representing the masses, but though constitutionally you are the president. But in Gambia, if you see, the youth involvement into politics and political discussion have significantly increased over the years. And NPP has given us a leverage and the platform, like President Barrow said. He always tells students when he meets us that he did not build this party for himself. He did not build the structures that the party has. If you look at MPP, for instance, we have structures in all 7 administrative regions in the country. And we have our administrators there, and we have a chairman. Those people are daily operational of the party at the regional level. If you come to the national level, we have an administrative secretary and his entire team. The idea is to have the party institutionalized, party run itself, take its own decisions, correct its own errors, and punish its own members, and of course reward the members that are committed and members that are capable in delivering for the party. So basically, as a result, they accommodated us by giving us the state-of-art office in their headquarters in Bundo. And then we also have our own office. We run our things not independent, but interdependent with the party. They give us the maximum support on all what we do. And then, of course, we also serve as a leverage to create opportunity, because being a party that in government, to me as a president, I understand my responsibility is beyond getting people to like MPP and supporting MPP, but part of my responsibility is also make sure that the students across the country needs and aspirations are met, and I engage relevant government authorities and institutions of government when necessary to chip in, not only to provide a support, but to support what they're supposed to get. For instance, you will see some schools that have some issues and that they cannot handle, maybe based on their top management, people do that all the time, doing things that they're not supposed to do, or things that they're supposed to do, they are not doing. When we get those informations, we relay to the ministers and give them the information that this particular school, in fact, some of them are senior schools, some of them are junior schools, in this particular community is facing this, is facing, and the ministries and department, they normally solve those things. So as a government party, our job is not only to get people to like the president and vote for the president, but also to serve the people, because the president is elected, he has a mandate of the Gambian people, and by extension, anybody who is part of President Barrow's political circles, you should be promoting and doing what he himself would want to do for Gambian people, because that's at the end of the day, that's what will make Gambian people like his government and like our party and like whatever we propose. But if we all focus on you are not MPP, if you are not doing anything that is in line with the President Barrow, or before I even do with you, I have to be sure you are President Barrow, that's not how we operate. We operate in serving everybody regardless, because President Barrow is serving everybody regardless, and all his party's members and people that are having a responsibility within and outside the government have that responsibility and that directive by him that we should all serve Gambian people the best way we could, and our own little way as well.
That is quite a rundown, and I think it is clear to anyone seated down there as to what the wing does and what your role is. And personally, I will have to ask you that, because I believe believe, you know how these notions people could have that the student wing will only help or associate with people that associate themselves with the president. So it is more of like you are not representing the students at all or the youth at all, but people that are having the same interest or affiliation as you. So it is important that we make it clear. Is that actually the thing, or is it just a notion that people have that needs to be clear?
Actually, I think that's a notion. You know, it's only normal. Like, for instance, me being, if you go to UTG, for example, I am politically involved. I was politically involved in UTG, and then by default, when I become a president, I see many people that are around me or work with me. Most of them are of my political inclination in UTG, and some people will say that Tunkara is bringing only particular group of people to NPP, but they do not understand. That is not the we have so many whole lot of people. That's a perception, but anytime I had opportunity, I keep echoing to people that that is not the case. Of course, but if you found yourself in a position of responsibility, you work with the people that you know much, you know better. But in the process, it's one thing to have team that you're working with, but it's another thing to serve the general public. I think the formation of the team should not be the issue. The issue should be, are you serving everybody, or are you serving the particular sector of people? So in my case, for me, I believe in forming a very competent team that I can work with and we can deliver. But in terms of services, we do not look at who is who in terms of opportunity that we are giving to the students. For example, the scholarship processes that we push MPP to go into in support of our administrative secretary. Everybody that applied and qualified and was lucky to have it. And many of the applicants, I can say that 95% of the people that are beneficiaries of MPP scholarship, I do not know them from I do not know them from Adam. All what we know is the applications that where they applied and they were lucky to get it. And that's how it works. So it's not about the team that you have, but it's about, and also it's not only UTG as well. Now, if you look at MPP students wing now, we have been able to increase our spread across almost all the tertiary institutions in not only greater Banyan areas, but also in rural areas as well. We have students wing members even at the senior secondary school level. They are just like I said earlier on. What we intend to do is to institutionalize a political party. You must have young people at the very early stage of their life that they share the same value or the same principle to be associated and to be accommodated. As they grow into the system, and eventually when the elders that are there wind down, those people will still be committed and take over the mantle of the baton without even asking to be handed over, because they have been groomed into the system. They understand the challenges and opportunity that comes with it, and then they also believe the principle, and they understand the models. They can always increase on the models and make sure that it's sustained. And if you see, the president keeps saying the MPP intend to stay here for more than so many years, some will say 100 years. And I mean, it's not a strange thing, when he says, some people say, it's not about him, it's about the party, it's about the political philosophy that we want to develop. In every party, Gambia should get a point where a political parties, you can link a political party to a certain ideas, a certain social cultures, a certain social beliefs. For example, if you go to United States, America now, for example, you have Democrats. In Democratic Party, for instance, you will have what they call social democrats, or some they will call them. You also have what they call, for example, conservatives or liberals. So they have different beliefs on how the party should run, on how the government should approach, and the party should approach social issues. So that those beliefs were fused into a one. At the end of the day, they try to balance it, and that's why even if you look at their Congress, sometimes you will see a ruling party will come up with an idea, but along the line they have to go and nehal one or two members of parliamentarians from the same party to accept, because those people believe that thing is not something that is needed at the time. But they have to be persuaded to make them understand it generally is it serves the same thing that they want, just that the model. So the model, if need be, the model can be changed and to fit. They also can see themselves being part of the process and accept the process. So to me, serving everybody is the key. And MPP, we do not believe in gasta. We do not believe in, you have to do it for me, I'll do for you. What we do is, we are a party that is lucky to be formed when we are in government. So for us, what we focus on is to make sure that everybody is all inclusive. And now you can see that we have so many young people are interested into joining. But we encourage many more of us to join. At the end of the day, whatever politics and politician does affect all of us, the young people.
That is important, Mr. Tunkara. It's quite a stuff there, and I think anyone that paid attention will get what you have to, get what you want to put through. And then I think among what you said, one thing stood out for me, and that is the fact of catching them young. That is one thing that I think Gambians or Africans lack in. We tend to wait benit maga, ñu soga ko introduced to some things. But if you start earlier, you grow into it, then you develop. It's not about, you are not forced at some point or put to it. You grow up to it and happen to love it, and then you move by it without being told. So that is important. And then, so, nekul benen be moy tok 100 years. Even though NPP is planning to be here for that long duration, because I think that is every party's thing. Even though some parties will start and then fall, but then I think every party desires to stay more, even though others will stop, and then the legacy will continue. And then one thing I want to talk for that 100 years. But then we have seen that the 2021 election, during campaigns, we talked about Barrow saying that the he made it clear NPP the fee for a long period of time, but then mom the fire serve for 2 terms with them. Well, recently I have seen that you guys are moving towards that term, and personally I think I have seen it on your social media platform that you are also endorsing and supporting that third term bid. So I want to know what made you believe that Barrow should run for third term. Just let us know. Well, there are some of us that believe that 2 terms is enough for a president now, but then there are still some of you also that believe that a third term bid could come. Everyone have their own perspective. So then let's talk about it. Why do you think third term is still a bid for President Barrow?
Yes, I think first of all, people, when President Barrow came to power, he came on a mandate of coalition that says 3 years. And that coalitions, we all know how it goes. We don't have to waste our time on that. The long story short. And it didn't materialize. And then he moved to 5 years, which he was mandated to serve. Then he formed his party, and then we come together and he contested. But during the last election period, there was no time President Barrow said that he will serve only 2 terms. What he was very clear is he is a fan of 2-term presidency. That's what he said.
Okay.
And which is actually he believed so much in that. But just like the circumstances that made him moved from 3 to 5 years, is now the same circumstances that is moving from 10 years to 15 years, at least for now. Yes, I supported the President Barrow to go for a 3rd term because I believe very much and very strongly, it's not personal, is that at this point in our nation's history, the reforms and then the machinery of government, the way it's functioning, and the way the country is very fragile as it is right now. If we are to change a leadership, we're definitely going to change the whole lot of things. And then those might have a negative setback to us. Many people will say in the developed countries, people 2 terms would be okay. Actually, even 5 years would be okay if a system, you have a proper functioning system.
So why is it our system
okay? Because
that
it's not you fixing all. Do you understand? No country that you have a president that will come and fix all. In America, if Obama, America have a more than 2 terms, still Obama, after even more than a decade after leaving office, he's still one of the most popular political figure in America. If he's to contest today, he might be lucky again to come back. So President Barrow have started a work. We believe that it is not yet time for him to leave. One, because if he has to leave right now, that doesn't mean we don't have anybody to come and replace him.
That is where I would want to go.
We have a whole lot of people that can replace President Barrow.
Okay.
He knows, everybody knows. In MPP, who can be part of the leadership, who can be very good president, maybe even more than him. He himself knows that.
Yeah, we've seen you.
This is a collective decision of not only him as a person, but him and all his political family, including the 9 political parties that are supporting the President Barrow. So as a politician, Sabena's card, one part of you is yours. But the other side of you is not you. The very day you, there are these popular quotes by the late Nigerian former President Muhammad Buhari, may he rest in peace, that when he lost the presidency for the third term, I think third term or fourth term at the Supreme Court, he said on camera that he would not present himself again for presidency. That was his final and last term. But opportunity availed itself in 2015, and his people went to him and said, you have to come. And he told them that I've already told Nigerian, I am not going to present myself again for presidency. They said, thank God you said you're not going to present yourself. We are going to present you this time around. Do you understand? So President Barrow's presidency has never been about him wanting to be president. From the 2016, he was never interested to be president. Somehow, circumstances brought him to be president. In 2015, in 2021, the same thing applied. When he followed with UDP, he was not really interested. But people come and said, no, you are doing well. So why do you have to go? Let's go. I mean, it's people that are supporting you said, let's go. So what do? You have to go with them. After all, we are not breaking any law in the Gambia. And there was an effort, but I'll come to that. In 2020, this December that is coming, the same political class, if President Barrow's third term was serious problem, his coalition would have had a problem. But you see, since he came to power, the very people that he came with is the same people that are with him for the last 10 years. The only group that left is UDP, which is understandable. We all know what the differences are. We don't have to go into that detail. So, but he has maintained that the same a very strong coalition, and none of these people deem him fit. That okay, I think Mr. President is okay now. They all very much believe, because to me, I do not believe a president should be defined on number of years. Yes, it's a good legacy, but one of the greatest presidents in America, who was belittled, nobody thought he can do anything. He served for 4 terms, 20 years. He died in presidency. So that's the kind of person. He's the one that introduced a law, signed in the bill that allow women to vote. Give right women to vote. Give right to the minority American to vote. And so many progressive laws, Kogumoko easy. And 4 term left. So man, I don't think, a 2 term or 5 term would determine the success of a president. Governments, we should not be copy pasting people. Like British and England and America. Look at if you go to England, they have a monarchy system. Okay. In America, they have a presidential system. But if you go to, for instance, let's compare ourselves to like China. China is a communist country, right? And they have a president usually stand for 10 years. Okay, but they don't go for election. They have their own voting system. But China is rapidly advancing. And because of the progress this current president did, they extended his presidency. Because what is essence of a leader? It's to serve the public. If people are okay, if you are doing your best to make sure you uplift your people from where they are, then why change? If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So President Barrow, he said it. Gambians he has nothing to prove to Gambians. And in a sense that Gambians have done so much for him. But since he also become president, he did his utmost best to move Gambia. We cannot say, he's doing all what he's doing, nobody will ever come and do it. Nobody will say that. But the reality on ground is, President Barrow have done things that are unthinkable. That is the reality. Either you like him or not, those are part of his legacy. They will say, it's OIC. Bahna, look at most of the things that he's done. Okay. At least anti-corruption. He bring anti-corruption bills. Okay. He built bridges, flyovers, roads that we never thought of. a country that was disconnected from Kwadon to Koina. You can't drive a place to place that took you 20 minutes, take you like an hour. Now Gambia, you can drive across the country within 1 day and come back to your house. So what else do we want?
Okay, I will tell people su ñëwé ci road rek nañ ko bayé affaire am la moko man mom mokay def.
And you are saying electricity, the same thing.
Electricity nak da man electricity lay liggéey.
We don't have a permanent restoration of electricity.
Yes.
But the truth of matter is Gambia now is a better place to live than 10 years ago.
That is the aim, I think.
That is the aim.
That is actually what everyone should do.
We are working towards that. You know, we cannot finish it.
Yeah.
Even if you still want to develop here more.
But
well, if somebody comes and says, wow, you guys are doing very well. But that doesn't mean you should just go and
stop.
sleep.
Yeah.
You want to do better. You even want to build your own building. You want to be even in every region. Do you understand? That is the aim of every country. That is the aim of every leader. So why the good thing about a leader is, at least when you see a good things outside, you come and you want to do it here. I think that if there's anything I admire Jammeh for in those days, it's like anytime he go outside and he come to the airport, I remember he would just make a very bold statement at the airport. And then sometimes you will see him trying to do some of those things, even though I've never supported Jammeh. But President Barrow doesn't come and make a bold statement. What he come and do is, you know, he said he would never say Gambia is going to, he will make Gambia like a Singapore. He would not say he will make Gambia like a Dubai, you know, but he will work and he will allow people to now compare Gambia to before and his time. So I think that's the style. He doesn't compare Gambia with anything, and he doesn't like to be compared, and he doesn't compare himself with anybody. He believes he is him, and Gambians voted for him, and he will do what he can do. Then the posterity will be the judge of his legacy.
I think from what I get and from what viewers will get is that the President Barrow going for third term is not just his own aspiration or his own plan, but it's something that the entire party or his associates supports and push him
100%. Before now, he is the one that we want to go with. And
at least for now,
if future would deal with that, we would not say fourth term or fifth term. But what we do know is we are not driving from the objective of national development. I mean, what we told people is what we did. I mean, President Barrow, what he said 2021, all what campaign messages was continuity, sustaining the pressure on infrastructure development, electricity expansion, water supply, education. Lady, go and look at the Gambian tertiary institution now. I was watching 17-minute video that Ministry of Mo has just released. It's amazing. Looking at the Faraba Banta, where it was and where it is now. When President Barrow was coming, people would say that Jammeh most start the year is true. But when President Barrow was coming, Faraba Banta was less than 1%. 1%. And now it's almost to 90% completion. What is left now is a bigger auditorium that we are the phase 4 or 3 or 4 auditorium, and the big auditoriums and the football pitches and how do you call it, campus for the dormitories. So if you have those one in Faraba Bantan campus, then you will have built a state-of-art university campus for the first time in history in Gambia. Before people get into admission to universities, it takes some of people so many years. By the time they got admission, they move into different life, because you cannot wait. Time is going. But now, if you can't go to UTG, you can go to public service university, you can go to USAID. We are doing people are studying techs, people are studying engineering, mechanical engineering. So these are the kind of things that help young people to grow easily and fast and make a lot of money for themselves. So we cannot have to import experts from abroad. We can now have export. For example, I have a mechanic who studied USAID or MDI, but now he's doing very well. A cars that some of the big fitters that mechanic come from abroad cannot fix, he's fixing them and he's making a lot of money. So this is how government create millionaires in your own country. It's not about giving them the money, but it's about creating an environment and creating the environment for everybody to strive, and that's this government is doing. So nobody's intimidated, nobody's locked up, nobody's been beaten, nobody's been killed, nobody's going after anybody because you don't like a party. There are people who are opposing the president and they are making their millions. Nobody report them, nobody arrest them. So what else do we want, the Gambians? We don't have option but President Barrow.
So you are telling us that it doesn't matter where you support, but then the President Barrow will continue what he is doing, as that is what he is taxed to do.
Exactly. And we solicited every government to support us in coming December elections because we all stand to
yes.
So including you are new voter. All of you here are new voter. No, Gambians are new voter because Gambians have the name. President Barrow, mashallah, what he's doing, mom, you know, if I have to keep talking about it here, it's whole lot. It's whole lot. You know, one of the fantastic policy I love about this government is, you know, the social intervention program. For example, more
just give us 2 policies or programs that you think students or youth benefit most in. Let's talk about. Hence, you are talking about a policy that you just give me 2 that you think youths. Sometimes it's ignorance or sometimes we don't know. Probably it's because we don't know. We are not exposed. That is why we make certain judgment of government. So give us actually 2 key policies.
Some oppositions, you know. No opposition has ever come here and tell people what they are doing. And if you do fact check, you don't know that government is already doing this. Some of it is like opposition. I had one opposition yesterday. They were talking about when UDP came to power, they want to create. No, I just had one of my friends. He's an opposition though. He said he was in an interview actually. He said the UDP will come and create a directorate of foreign, I don't know, diaspora.
Okay.
And the Minister of Foreign. I was like, what? It's already there.
Okay.
This government have already created that. It's very functional.
Is it functioning?
It is. Even yesterday I was there. All the foreign documents now are stamped through directorate. Do you understand? So all those people, they deal directly with the government that are abroad stranded. I deal with them several times because I know PAs. And several occasions when I had those kind of governments are stranded, I walk to PA's office and tell him this lila dega. So this is there. So, but coming to your question, let me give 2 things. I think the 2 things are very visible, and then I'll focus on the students. What is government doing for us?
Okay.
I talk about Faraba Banta expansion. That is one thing, but effectively operationalizing Faraba Banta is another thing. I remember when I joined University of the Gambia in Carnifin campus, sometimes when you come to class late, you will have to stand at the window to attend the lectures, or you go home, or you go wherever you go into, because the classes is full and it cannot accommodate all the students. There will be a scarcity. There was a scarcity, or there is a scarcity of chairs all the time. The chairs are not, and you cannot blame them because the space is not there. Okay. So you will have like the whole 3 classes in a day. And sometimes you have to come very early to sit down, and the environment was not conducive because the university, do not feel like campus life. You know, some will just come and park their car, go to school, so you don't even know if you are going to university. So, but moving to Faraba Bandang, it makes students feel like they are students. They have that connection with academia. They have that connection because going to school, for me, it's not about demal di janga new. It's about building that kind of relationship, everlasting relationship with your colleagues and across the faculties and schools. For example, now everybody now in Faraba Bantang campus, it becomes so lively that if you don't have class, for example, in BPA, you can go to law faculty. Your friends are there and can talk together and do your studies and do your stuff. Okay. You can go all the way to School of Education. You can go all the way to where we call Brussels, SAS. You know, and go there, and so these are the kind of relationships. So then when you found yourself in position of authority tomorrow or responsibility, you can always say, I remember my friend in law, buy my call. I remember my friend in engineering, buy my call. I remember my friend in political science, buy my call. So these are the kind of things. It's easy. It makes it easy for us to call each other and say, you know what, this is what I want us to do together. And yeah, I have known you since our uni days. So that's one good thing. And the admission now in the U2G is now significantly high, equal to almost the graduation. Last convocation, we have 1,700 graduates. And before, I remember, when we are here, our faculty lead, our dean used to ask the student leaders that, okay, this semester, we will admit more than required because nobody apply and we cannot reject everybody and they are qualified. So classes we are going to be squeezing. So like to have a prior knowledge.
Yeah.
So so that we are prepared for that because we are all the same. We all want to do the same thing. And they will reject people because not because they are not qualified, but because they can accommodate. And within that 4 or 5 month semester, hard, you can adopt into another life.
Yeah.
that by the time comes, man, UTG, I think I'm done.
So
you see, you can imagine that you going to UTG, what you would have done to your talent, your life, and progress you would have made over the years. But now that window is closed. Now we have a campus in Faraba, schools that we are not using our whole classes. The last time I checked in my school BPS, some of the classes are there, we are yet to use them because we don't have enough students are not being admitted now. So meaning the government have built more than requires. Do you understand? So, and increase it with other schools that skills, that's from the most fascinating part is building the USET and making sure it's operational, because government over the Africa or many countries, then they build data
by operational with motion problem.
Well, right now you see Barolumu build they are all are you not seeing convocation? Graduate, people are graduating. You said it's graduating people. the MDI will soon graduate students very soon, and then so civil service will soon graduate students. So these are the things that we are doing. Those are practical and is impactful to the student. Now students don't have to struggle, and then of course taking the college down to the rural areas. For example, can you imagine all the way in Basse? Last 2 weeks ago, I had a very lengthy 2-hour meeting with the students' union in Basse. We spoke at length on so many issues that affecting them, on how we can resolve them, and we are working on resolving them. So those people, I was like, some of them are from maybe LRR, NBR. Someone, why not come? Why Basse? No, my parents want me to come here. So you see, because some people don't feel like coming here is an idea. And of course, it also reduces the rural urban migration as well. Yeah. Because Combo is becoming so pressure is too much on Combo. And what we don't know is, if the pressure is in too much, it put pressure on the infrastructure, the social infrastructure. For example, the healthcare system, the water supply, the sewage. All that comes with, because at the end of the day, planning is key. And if KMC is to accommodate, like for example, 1 million or 500,000 Gambians, and within 2 years, you see that the migration have increased KMC to almost close to 700,000 to 800,000 residents, and the infrastructure in KMC is not even accommodating the 500,000 residents that's supposed to be here, and you now have 700,000. How can we all have the same service? So this is the way this is where it should be difficult. So sometimes I guess you will see an infrastructure built far in LRR and CRR, you see a less usage because people are migrating. But if some of the institutions of government, for me, I would love to say that, seeing some of the critical institutions of government migrate into some of these areas so that people can start going back to their community and have a livelihood. I think our next phase is going to be focusing on more of creating job opportunity for young people. By the way,
is important.
2 weeks ago, the Bureau of Statistics, announced that the unemployment rate in Gambia have reduced and employment have increased. But for me, as a young person, I strongly believe there is still more need to be done.
Still a lot to do.
There are a lot of graduates who are in the country. They cannot get a job, and then there are a lot of people who have skills, and then they don't have opportunity to practice their skills and make sure that they do what they learn in the classrooms. But I'm sure that as time goes, that also is going to be considered. So I trust this government, and I trust our political leader, the president.
He trusts the president and trust the political leaders that we have. Bahna, as we are seeing, I think everyone has a right to judge as to where you want to belong. But then, as we listen to each other, as we get to know, man, I think that is the most. I tell people this is the beauty of what I do, because I get to learn every day. Anyone that I brought in teach me what he does. So I get to learn from what you are doing. I get to know, and then I will put in. It will shape how I go. I think that is media does that.
If you understand MBB1, you're going to understand MBB more and more.
We are doing all that.
I'm sure your camera crew and others are going to appreciate
my camera. But that's what you think, right? Anyways, I think the people down there that are also listening are also learning. So I will want to know, supporting the incumbent could be hard. People might think being in opposition is hard, but supporting the incumbent also is tough, I believe. Because sometimes you might feel like journalism and activists may be on your neck, but I think that is our role. Don't take it too hard on us. It's just our job. We are not here to be praise singers. We just do what we had to do. But as a youth, as someone that is very engaged, man, I could tell you are very engaged. Keep on the bala am interview is a problem. So I know everyone at this time of your life, you are always engaging, you are always doing. So how is the pressure like being how are this, like the challenges that you face as an advocate for the incumbent and as a political engager in this country? What do you think young people in this country face if they are in your role?
Yes, for me, as a person, I am very passionate of what I'm doing. Okay. And I am very passionate about the MPP growth, and I am very much passionate about the President Barrow getting re-elections. For me, I feel like it's normal thing, you know, getting involved, being busy, you know, working towards getting your aim achieved. So it's very normal, and I really love what I'm doing, and I love to work for what I believe in, because you know it's one thing to be working and be paid for to do your job. It's another thing to working for something that you believe in. So in my case, it's about my belief. I could be wrong, maybe in some of my thoughts. I stand to be corrected anytime. I'm open for that. But at this point, I strongly believe President Barrow should continue for the third term. And based on what I see, and I was privileged to travel abroad at a very young age of my life. So I spent a very good part of my early life in outside Gambia in Asia. So I see how they develop their countries, you know, and how their young ones will travel and go and study and come back, knowing that life here is not easy, but they still come back. You know what they will tell you? Nobody will build here for us.
Yeah, that's the hard
fact. No matter how many years I stay there, I have two options: to permanently retire there and live my life and have a half-year family, or and come back home and have a full family. And that's what they believe outside. So me, that changed a lot in my perspective. So I believe in this thing. And when I came for NPP, is all about believing in the party and the political leader, that is President Barrow. I know what he's doing, and I know how much he loves the country, and then I know how patriotic. I can say that for free. There's no political leader in this country is more patriotic than the President Barrow.
Opposition,
you know, and many people that are saying, they are just saying things that because it's convenient for them, and politically, you know, you always want.
Don't you think you also saying this is not convenient for you?
No, it's not. To be honest with you, it is not. It is not convenient. I'm saying this because I'm privileged to know the president. I'm privileged to sit with him, and privileged to you know, to get to that level with him as young people. I mean, that have that kind of discussion with the president. So I can tell how much he loved the country. You know, how much he pushed for what he think is for everybody, not for only people of NPP. President Barrow is one person that does not take decision that, you know, support when it comes to the national issue that supported the political party. The issue is about Gambia future. What is there for Gambia at the end of the day, everybody regardless. So once that been fixed in equations, consider that done. But as long as whatever you are doing, Gambia is not part of that, he would not go with that. And all the political leaders that are there, they know that those that work with him knows him very well, that he is that kind of person. In terms of a young person being involved at this level, of course, it's not easy. It comes with a lot of challenges, okay? And because as a student leaders, you know, we have this problem with, you know, the elderly people that who see us as kind of threats, who see that these people, they are too much, you know, we are creative.
Okay.
So we try to do things differently. We try to push things the way we think it should. You know, but MPP, one thing, good thing about MPP I like is they accommodate us. Okay, where we are wrong, we are called and say, you know, you don't do this. This is how we do it. We also learn along, because it's learn, like I said. We are there to learn. Okay. So we are there to learn and be prepared for future leadership. Nobody's involved into this kind of game if you're not interested in, because if you're not interested, you can't, because leaving your house alone every day and going to the political office is a problem. Or leaving your comfort zone, politics, you know, it's difficult. But then because we love what we are doing, that's one thing NPP students wing I see there. I see everybody love what they are doing. Call your head task correct. he will come and do it more than what you ask him, the way you ask him to do. You'll be wondering like, how do you do this? It's the talent. They also try to provide, because they feel like everybody feel that sense of entitlement. That party bi ñu ñëpp ko moom, so everybody def ku ne da nga war a jël li nga mun nga def ko si parti bi. Su dee alal nga am dugal sa alal, soo mu dee alal su dee xam-xam nga am nga jël sa xam-xam dugal ko si parti bi. At the end of the day, parti bi dem koo gom. So that's one thing MPP is able to build, you know, making people believe in the party. And when people believe in the project, they will not shy away. And of course, we are trying to break that barrier also, because we have so many other people who are very much supporting NPP, but they feel shy away of coming out and say, the man NPP la. The man who can you teach, everybody knows that I am a dead NPP. Why
do you think some people shy away from showing their political affiliation?
Because NPP is a new party, and Gambia have a 2.03 million populations. Okay. So some people never really think, you know, some people are still skeptical. Some young people, we are still skeptical about politics generally. Okay. Because some will have their uncle stories, you know, some will have the auntie stories, some will have their brother stories. You know, different stories are going on. Some of them are very negative. So obviously when, you know, you see somebody, one of you or family member getting into this and have some problem, you know, you tend to get scared and say, and think, is this what, at the end of the day, you know, that's there. But of course, some also, you know, it's just about, I don't think, man, school, I don't think I would do politics, man, focus. Some people think that there should be a time for everything. But for me, there should be no time for participation. There should be a time for certain things, but in terms of participation, there should be no time for participation. So you can participate at every single point of your time, especially when you are going to university.
That is important.
That's what I encourage people to do. Participate. You're not interested to have a position, you're not interested to play any key roles, but just be there. It always equips you. Even as a journalist, you know, if no matter how much you love journalism, you admire and inspire them, you have to break that barrier of being shy. You understand? And come boldly and speak. There are some people, they only love being behind cameras. And they are very good in that. But if you ask them comments, they say, no, they don't. So it's all about being, if you like being behind camera, be where cameras are, so you can be behind cameras.
Okay.
But if you stay at home and say, well, man, I like being behind cameras, and you're not going where the cameras are, how can you be behind them? So if you like being involved in politics,
be where politicians
are.
That is important.
That's
and
I
think that is very clear. Mr. Tunkara, I would love this conversation to go on and on and on, but I've been reminded countless times that my time is running and time is up. But I'm sure we will have another conversation by the grace of God.
Sure.
We will have another time where we will have more of this discussion as to what you guys are doing and what youth participation actually is in politics in this country, because that is a very important aspect of our life. Politics is what defines us, it's what governs us, so we cannot just stay away from it. So thank you so very much for coming. Just your final words to the viewers down there, to young people that are staying away from politics. What do you have to tell them? Because that is my problem. I want to see young people engage. I'm a youth advocate. I just love to see young people doing something. So even with politics, I want to see it. As much as I appreciate that now there are a lot of young people that are really engaging, but we really need massive engagement. So help me in letting young people in this country know that politics is not something that they should run away from.
Yes, for me, for us, the young people, politics should not divide us. Politics should not be chaotic. Politics should not be toxic. Politics is a game of ideas. You want to go to Banjul, you feel like going through Bond Route is safer than going through the arch. So now, how do I convince everybody that want to go and say, okay, Jarlen Bond Route done this? You go and figure that out. If the majority agree with my idea that I think I'm making a sense on going to Bond Route, then going to arch and going to terminal, then they go with me. So it shouldn't have get into a fair point where we're going to fight, we're going to break everything, you know, our relationship. You know, politics, they would know. So this toxicness, they put into us, the young people. And at the end of the day, what do you see? You will see the same political figures that we are fighting, they will come together. So support your party, with wisdom. Support your party because you believe in your party. And don't fight your friend because you are not in your party. Don't do physical fight. Don't do cyberbullying. Learn by all these things. Politics, all this. Politics is very simple thing. sell your idea, sell your candidate. So election year is going to be very, very fragile. Why young people, we should know that if there's any breakdown of any law or anything, we are the first casualties. Young people and the women. So we are the vulnerable people.
We are the vulnerable ones.
And most of these people that are ranting, they want to do this, they want to do this. I'm not even passport. I'm not even visa. So me terek, dunjare banyo airport sa Dakar la ñuy dem tukki. So ñun nak amuñ, some of us we don't even have passports. Where do we go to? So with all the problem that we carry it, ñaka sa life, sa everything for no reason, jaruko. Which nobody should push anybody into fight, in the violence. Politics jaru lolu non. So and that's what I will encourage my fellow young people. And also let's be involved, but let's be involved with civility, the maximum civility, because at the end of the day, Magi elect, just like what he said, we are the Magi today. So we encourage everybody to get involved as well and make sure that we got involved responsibly. And at the end of the day, because young people participation has to be very responsible, so that we can at the end of the day show that we can be a very responsible leaders and we can be trusted, because we must also gain the trust of everybody, including the people that are in positions. You know, you cannot come and grab power in somebody's hand. And I will just share this story quickly. There was a day I traveled with somebody, and then she just came, and then when he came and he took what I supposed to be the one to give.
Okay.
So mubu ko jël suma loxo, because mom dafa feel ne man luma am luñ ma jox mom lañ ko wara jox, te way man lañ jox was fofu nonu man lañ ko wara jox. But man I understand that mom la ko wara jox by our setting.
Yeah.
Why it's for me to do that, not for you to grab it. Do you get? So ñun as young people, if you also want to be in position of leadership, we should also follow the people that are there today and support them. We cannot come and grab it in their hand. And leadership, kendula call muni am jalal nega leader. You have to work for that. You have to make your hands dirty. Get involved in the political processes. Sit with your politicians. Organize yourself. Organize your community. And above all, it's all about helping your community. Anybody in politics, I believe, community. If you look at that person, either he's a position today or not. If you see anybody in position today, go and check very well. The people will tell you that key get involved, mobilize people. So those are the people that become that very big mobilizers politically. So they have been doing that a lot. So just like President Barrow has been doing his community a lot, and now he's the president of the Gambia.
Bahna, thank you so very much, Mr. Tunkara. As I said, we really appreciate the time and the wisdom and knowledge that has been shared down here. And as I will always tell you, from every conversation that we will have on this platform, you will get inspired and you will learn. And from whatever it is that we learn from Mr. Tunkara today, I think one thing that stood out for me and that we as young people should take as a takeaway is to be civic in what we do. Let's be responsible in politics. We are in a time that politicians will be everywhere, and politics is at its peak. Everyone has a right to affiliate with any political party or any politicians, but election at the end of the day we will stay, and we still need to associate, we still need to work together. So let's make sure that our relations are not broken just because of political affiliation. Until we come your way next week is a bye from the entire team of the Youth Spotlight. Bye.